Ramsey Enoch Agbo. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times 276. You can download the Global TV Nigerian mobile app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. The People's Democratic Party, New Nigerian People's Party, Coalition of United Political Parties, and others have strongly criticized the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, for openly declaring his plan to lead President Bola Tinubu's 2027 re-election campaign. During a media chat in Abuja, Wike described himself as a key asset in helping Tinubu win the 2027 election. The former Rivers State governor also insisted he was not involved in any anti-party activity and challenged the PDP to suspend him if they believe otherwise, while the party's deputy national youth leader, Timothy Osadolo, urged Nigerians to disregard Wike's comment, stating that the party would soon enforce its rule against the minister. The Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation Engineer Professor Joseph Telumo Utsev has expressed deep concern over the recent flood incident in Mokwa, which claimed lives and displaced residents on May 29, 2025. Speaking at a press briefing in Abuja, the minister emphasized that the flood was not due to release from the Kanji or Jeba dams, both which remained safe. Instead, it resulted from extreme rainfall linked to climate change, worsened by blocked waterways due to unregulated buildings. Priscilla Obasi completes the story.
The Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation has addressed the nation on the flood incident across the country, clarifying the cause of the recent flood in Mokwa, Niger State, while restating early flood warnings issued in April. The minister commended the immediate response efforts of the Niger State government, local authorities, and first responders who have been working tirelessly to provide relief and support to the victims. He stated that technical personnel from the ministry, Nigeria Hydrological Services Agency, Upper Niger River Basin Development Authority, and National Water Resources Institute are currently on ground in Mokwa assessing the situation to produce a detailed report.
This opportunity to re-echo the key warnings and recommendations from the 2025 annual flood outlook. We have urged and we are still urging states and local governments to act on these early warnings by 1. Strengthening drainage infrastructure, relocating vulnerable communities from flood plains, engaging in sustained public awareness campaigns, and enforcing land use regulations to prevent encroachment into flood-prone areas.
Professor Usev emphasized that part of the issue is the encroachment of floodplains by residents who were previously advised not to settle in such areas. He stressed that flooding can be prevented through proper urban planning and the provision of adequate drainage infrastructure.
Weather events, including intensive rainfall and river flooding, are becoming more frequent and severe across the country and globally. These events not only disrupt livelihoods, they also challenge the resilience of our infrastructure and environment. As a ministry, we remain fully committed to our mandate of monitoring, managing the nation's water resources in a sustainable and climate resilient manner.
The ministry had earlier predicted flooding in 19 local government areas of Niger State, including Mokwa, through its 2025 annual flood outlook. Communities across 33 states, including the FCT, are identified as high-risk zones, with the minister calling for stronger drainage systems, relocation of vulnerable population, and stricter enforcement of land use laws. Priscilla Obasi, Global Television.
The Judicial Staff Union of Nigeria suspended its strike, which started on Monday, Johnson announced the suspension in a communique issued after its meeting with the representative of the Chief Judge of Nigeria, Justice Kudirat Kekere-Ekun. The communique signed by all stakeholders present said this was after long deliberation on issues that led to the declaration of the industrial action by the union. According to the communique, the following agreement was reached: that the Johnson obliged the intervention of CJN, Minister of Labor and Employment, Muhammadu Dangadi, NLC and other stakeholders 1 month for negotiation. The federal government says 100,000 artisans will be trained across the country in 2025 to revamp the country's economy through skill acquisition. The Director General, Industrial Trust Fund, Dr. Oluwatoyin Ogun, stated this today in Akure at the inauguration of Association of Nigerian Artisans and Technicians Secretariat, Ondo State. Ogun says the President Bola Tinubu-led administration made it top priority to explore various skills of the country's artisans for the development of the nation. Zamfara State Governor Dr. Daud Lawal has approved payment of Salah Eid el-Kabir bonus to all civil servants and pensioners in the state. The approval reflects the governor's commitment to the welfare and happiness of the people, especially during the sacred period of Eid el-Kabir, a time of sharing, reflection, and prayer. A statement by the Zamfara State Commissioner for Information and Culture, Alhaji Mahmoud Mohammed Dantawasa, says the gesture was to ease the financial burden on the families and enable them to celebrate the festivities with joy and dignity. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has assured the chiefs of Baduma and Guzape community in territory of adequate compensation over the ongoing road construction projects. The minister gave the assurance at meeting with the traditional chiefs and representatives of the Baduma and Guzape communities in the Federal Capital Territory. Our correspondent, Godwin Sunday, reports.
The FCT Minister, Nyesom Wike, in a strategic meeting with the traditional chiefs and representatives of the Baduma and Guzape communities in the Federal Capital Territory, reiterated that every affected individual will be duly compensated and the right of occupancy for new resettlement areas will be provided without delay. The minister, however, clarified that the compensation will be paid for only the structures along the road corridor and not the entire community. He also directed that the compensation package should be doubled to ensure fairness.
So after the resettlement, go and make valuation. But the rate people are using is too small. Right? Increase their rate. If they're using 50 naira, give them 100 naira. Do you understand me? Then call director to get land for them. For those who are fighting, not the whole community, it's just those on the corridor, on the road, not the entire community. Until when we want to talk about community, we know it. But this one, just on the road corridor. So that we are not pushing on everybody. So don't say I said no, I'm not doing that now. But let the road link up. So that we know that we have the development.
In response, the traditional leaders of Baduma and Guzape, led by Sapai of Garki, Alhaji Usman Nga Kupi, expressed their appreciation to the FCT minister for his transparency and willingness to engage them directly.
Minister of FCT, we want to thank God and want to appreciate you at this moment. Why I say all this because we have never had a minister that brought his people close to him. You are the only one. Any other one is counterfeit. We are happy we have been praying for you. And I want to tell you clearly that we are in support of what they are doing 100%. It's our community and everybody wants to
The
vote
meeting
in.
ended on a positive note, with both parties committing to an ongoing dialogue and collaborating to ensure a smooth and respectful transition for all affected families. Godwin Sunday, reporting for Global Television News.
The industrial action embarked upon by the Judiciary Staff Union of Nigeria, JSN, has delayed the hearing on the case against suspended Kogi Central Senator Natasha Akpoti-Oduahen. The senator was scheduled to appear before the court on Tuesday, but could not be present in court due to the ongoing strike by JSN, which commenced on Monday. Minister of State for Works, Mohammed Guruyo, says federal government must spend about 880 billion naira annually for the maintenance of the federal road network nationwide. This came as the managing director of the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, Chukwu Emeka Abasi, disclosed that the template for deducting the road users' charge from the prices of petrol and diesel was never implemented by the defunct Petrol Product Pricing Regulatory Authority, now the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority. The two government officials spoke in Abuja at an investigative hearing of the House of Representatives Ad Hoc Committee. The committee is investigating the implementation and remittances of the 5% user charge for road maintenance under the Federal Road Maintenance Agency. The People's Democratic Party, that is PDP in Osun State, has called out the Attorney General and Minister of Justice of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi, over alleged abuse of office and high-handedness. In a statement by Olaleke Bamiji, the Osun PDP media director, the party protested the interference in the obstruction of local government council, describing it as politically motivated. The party also revealed that the action of Fagbemi in regard to the seizure of allocation to the state was dangerous erosion of the doctrine of separation of power. It called on President Bola Tinubu to rein in Fagbemi and remind him that no one is above the law. Benue State Governor Hyacinth Alia has confirmed the killing of 24 persons in deadly attack in Upper and Gwe West local government area of the state by armed men suspected to be Fulani herders. Governor Alia made the confirmation after an emergency security council meeting with service chiefs in the state at the government house in Makurdi. He noted that the casualty figures may rise given the scale and intensity of the attack on two communities.
Communities in Benue State continues to suffer from attacks by armed assailants suspected to be Fulani herders. These assaults have claimed numerous lives and displaced thousands, with the forest linking Naka and Ankpali Adiku often serving as an escape route for the attackers. The governor's visit aimed to commiserate with the affected communities, where 19 people were reportedly killed in Naka and 10 in Ankpali Adiku. In Naka, the Tenagi chief Abunse lamented the growing number of displaced persons and the continued loss of lives.
They have taken over Naka Makudi Road. We demand for 4 points to be properly manned by armed security personnel at Atingila, at Teabua, at Yolaha, and at Imande on Makudi Naka Axis Road, where these banditry attacks do come. Even yesterday, that was the axis they came through.
Chairman of Gwe West Local Government, Victor Omim, while commending government efforts to eradicate insecurity in the state, emphasized that the safety of Gwe West remains their top priority.
I still assure you that by God's grace, it will not go beyond this. I have the assurances of the service chiefs here and the security heads and the governor himself that everything will be brought under control by the grace of God.
In Ankpali Adiku, an eyewitness recounted that the attack occurred around 4:30 p.m. on Sunday, catching residents off guard. 10 people were killed, while several others sustained injuries and are currently receiving treatment in the hospital.
Even the police in the Atodugbo and the soldiers, we call on them. None of them were able to come because of the kind of gun. Those people were well fortified. Some of them, we were able to discover some of the Fulanis. We know, we run things with them. We welcome them when they came. We welcome them, we do everything with them. We show them that cordiality. There were more than 100 and something, well armed.
Traditional rulers and other community members also shared their concerns.
We have been experiencing this kind of attack since the beginning of this year and even last year. But we thank God today from the assurance the governor have given to us that he will make sure all the villagers return back to their communities. But we also appeal to His Excellency to please help us, because the presence of the military in Apa local government is not helping us. And we ask for His Excellency to please come to our aid by maybe caution or withdraw the presence of the military in Apa local government.
Meanwhile, the Commissioner of Police has assured the communities of full security from all the security agencies.
We are leaving enough logistics, we are leaving enough personnel, we are taking cognizance of all the areas that His Royal Highness has mentioned and other interests we got. We are moving around and we are going to take the appropriate action, because definitely the assailants must be arrested.
Governor Hyacinth Alia, represented by his Chief of Staff, Paul Biam, expressed deep sorrow over the loss of lives. He also voiced optimism that peace will soon return, stating that critical security measures are being intensified.
It is quite disturbing to see the level of damage that has been done in these communities. The people have been sacked from their villages. We have also met a couple of them and appeal to them to be very calm and understanding. As we go back to Makurdi, there have been some series of requests from the residents, spanning from creating security posts and also ensuring that other strategic steps are taken to ensure that this kind of situation does not occur.
The on-the-spot assessment took the delegation through Naka Ingwe West and Ankpali Adiku in Apa local government areas of Benue State. Felicity Ndere, Global TV News.
The governor further stated that those injured in the attack are receiving treatment in the hospital, while service chiefs have been deployed to the trouble area in the directive of the State Security Council. Following suspected herdsmen attack that left several people dead in 2 communities in Benue State, Governor Hyacinth Alia, in the company of all security heads in the state, have paid an on-the-spot assessment visit to them. The communities are Naka Ingwe West and Ankpali Ediku in Apa local government area of the state. Governor Alia assured the public that the spate of attack would soon come to an end. Felicity Ndere has details. In another development, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oloyede, has relocated to Makurdi, the Benue State capital, over the incessant killing of innocent villagers by herders and military groups. The killing, which is becoming almost a daily occurrence, has left many dead, several others injured and maimed, and several houses burnt, leaving many homeless. The lieutenant departed Abuja in early hours of Tuesday, accompanied by his principal staff officers and other top officers at the Army headquarters to the state, have an on-the-spot assessment of the situation on ground. Governor Mohammed Bako of Niger State has granted unconditional state pardon to 11 convicted persons who were on death row. The State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, Nasiru Moazu, made this known while briefing newsmen in Mina, the state capital. The Commissioner said that the state pardon was in exercise of the constitutional powers of the governor, following written request, which was further reviewed between the governor and the State Advisory Committee on the Prerogative of Mercy. You're watching the live broadcast of News Cycle. When News Cycle returns, South Korea heads to polls for new president. Details coming shortly, plus business and sports stories on the other side of this break. Stay with us. The Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria has sworn in 61st President Haruna Yahaya. Yahaya sworn in at the investiture ceremony held at the ICANN head office in Lagos. He succeeded Davidson Al-Baribe, who was the 60th president of the institute. In his valedictory speech, Al-Baribe revealed that during his time in office, ICANN expanded its footprint across Nigeria as it opened 26 district societies, and 24 of these were inaugurated. Present at the event were the governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who was represented by the Accountant General of the state, Dr. Abiodun Muritala, the Deputy Governor of Jigawa State, Aminu Usman, the Attorney General of Jigawa State, Abdul Qadir Finiri, the Executive Secretary of the Financial Report Council of Nigeria, Dr. Rabiu Olowo, the President of the Association of National Accountants of Nigeria, Zuwairu Kishimi, the President of Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, Professor Pius Olariwaju, and others. Now in business, the presidency has begun internal approval process to resolve the 2 trillion naira legacy debt owed to electricity generation companies by the end of the coming quarter. As part of efforts to stabilize Nigeria's power sector, a representative of the Special Advisor to the President on Energy, Irewa Onagurawa, disclosed this at the second Nigerian Electricity Supply Industry Stakeholders Meeting of 2025, hosted by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission. Onagurawa said the presidency recognizes the urgency of addressing the debt overhang, which has strained GENCOs and impeded electricity supply nationwide. She revealed that alternative debt instruments are being explored due to the federal government's current fiscal restraint. The Presidential Compressed Natural Gas Initiative, an urgent agency of the federal government, has revealed that Nigeria's push towards alternative transportation fuel has attracted over $500 million in investment and converted more than 50,000 vehicles to run on compressed natural gas within its first year. In a statement issued, the program director and chief executive of PCNGI, Michael Oluwagbemi, stated that this program, which officially commenced in May 2025, has already created over 10,000 direct jobs and led to the establishment of 255 new vehicle conversion centers and 53 CNG dispensing daughter stations nationwide. Oluwagbemi, dismissing the media report that claimed a slow rollout of CNG infrastructure across the country, described the claim as alarmist and unreflective of the rapid progress achieved under the President Bola Tinubu's administration. And on the foreign scene, Hamas-run health ministry says at least 27 people have been killed and 90 injured by Israeli fire, which waiting for aid distribution in Rafah, southern Gaza, in the early morning hours. The Israeli military says it fired shots near an aid complex after identifying several suspects, and it is examining reports of casualties. A medic in the area says a total carnage and being overwhelmed with casualties. For more on the foreign scene, here is Uye Agbamafoegbe's report as he will tell us about the issue. Now to the world of sport, where the captain of Manchester United, Bruno Fernandes, has rejected the Saudi club Al Hilal offer while opting to stay in his club. This was disclosed by Italian sports journalist Fabrizio Romano on X. According to him, Fernandes rejected the club's significant contract proposal. And that's it on Global TV News Cycle. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times channel 276. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen using @Global TV. You can also download Global TV Nigerian app for Android and iOS devices to keep track of our broadcast. I am Ramsey Enoch Agbo. Many thanks for watching.